Just because you don't have power running to a spot you'd like to have lighting doesn't mean you can't install a traditional light fixture. This isn't a solution for everyone, but it might be just what you need. Before I get into that, I don't want you to think I'm just being lazy or that this isn't for you if you're handy and you own your home, because you can do anything. I've moved electrical from one wall to another and done a lot of demo in this house over the years. It was built in the early 40s, and so the walls are thick and a pain in the ass to work on. Modern drywall makes it a hell of a lot easier to open up a channel to run new wiring, but not so much for these old homes. The solution is, of course, LED rechargeable bulbs, or battery-powered ones. Since this is only a temporary bed frame that we're using while this room gets worked on, I wasn't 100% certain where I'd want the wiring for these wall sconces. So rather than guess and have to redo my work later or limit my buying options, I mounted them, like normal, and used these battery-powered puck-style lights. They're weak, sure, but enough for our minimal lighting needs at night. Since I have attic access here, I can eventually run new wiring down this wall with minimal demo. Directly below this bedroom, however, is a different story. I have no access, and I don't want to do any more big demos, at least not for a while. So much so that when I recently redid this fireplace mantle, I made it a removable cover. You can check out the video here. My wife still really wanted some top-down lighting for this room, and I aim to please. The first step is finding center. Now, old houses aren't exactly plumb, so a laser helped guide me a bit, but a tape measure is still your best bet. I placed a bit of tape where I guess center is, and I was pretty close. You can buy any light fixture you want to fit your design needs, but you need to keep a few things in mind. LED rechargeable bulbs are bulkier and not as bright as the real deal. If you have a dark, moody room like this, don't count on your ceiling to bounce much of the light down. We originally bought this fixture from Amazon, and even with 4 bulbs, it didn't cast enough light because they were pointed upwards and obscured too much. This design not only points the bulbs down, but I have full flexibility in how close to the ground I want them. All we'll need now is the mounting bracket. Since we'll be anchoring this and unlikely to hit a joist, I'm going with 4 wall anchors instead of just 2. After tracing the bracket, I drilled smaller pilot holes to prevent any slippage of the larger bits that I'm going to use. When selecting your drill bits, you want the anchors to fit in there snugly. I'm using 2 different sizes only because I wanted to use the 2 that the lights came with, then I pulled 2 of my own from the garage. I like to drive the anchors in by slightly screwing in, the screw, a bit, and then using a hammer to drive them into the wall, or the ceiling in my case. Then I back the screws out. I find this method far less likely to cause me to bend or break the anchor, especially if I made the hole pretty snug. Now, I'm using the laser again to ensure this bracket is mounted straight, since it's a long rectangular shape with very precise mounting holes. I don't want to eyeball it and keep readjusting, but you can do that if you have to. Typically, these brackets are recessed into the ceiling and secured by a support brace between the joists. Since mine isn't, the screw heads for the mounting screws and the grounding screw are preventing me from being able to mount this flat. So I added these spacer washers I took from a TV wall mounting kit. Next, I'm setting up and adjusting this light fixture to the desired length. I'm going with 6 inches, which is a desired length by many, I'm told. To future-proof it, I'm not cutting away a majority of this slack and will just be tucking it into the base so that I can adjust it if the need should arise. After the initial install, I realized the spacers I used were too tall and caused a gap around the base. We can't have that. So I went with traditional washers and I stacked 2 of them for each of the screws to get the spacing I needed to clear those protruding heads. Now we're straight with the walls and there's no gap around the base. Perfect. As for the lighting, I returned that 4-pack of bulbs in exchange for this 3-pack I really wanted since they come with the charging dock. You can, of course, individually charge these, but the dock is pretty neat and more convenient in my opinion. These, of course, come with the plastic twistable bases that allow you to screw them into traditional light sockets. Make sure the size is the one you need for the fixture you've chosen, as the bulbs don't come with multiple options. Then it's business as usual. Screw these in like a normal light bulb, and since there's no light switch, you have to use these little remotes. The neat part is that you can keep it wherever you sit, and you have multiple light temperatures as well as colors to choose from. This option is plenty bright and a good enough solution for getting maximum lighting in this room when we need it. If I change my mind in the future, all I have to patch up are 4 tiny screw holes. I hope this inspired and motivated you to go for that light fixture you thought you couldn't install because you lacked power. If nothing else, it's a great way to test if you really want it in a location before committing to any demo, and of course electrical work, which isn't that quick of a job, nor is it cheap if you're not going to do it yourself. Thanks for watching.